guys, so today I'm going to read you part 3 of Helen Keller, Courage in the Dark. Let's go back to the previous video. So, Helen Keller was crazy and wild. Her family found a teacher for Helen. She used to be blind. The teacher used to be blind, but now she can see again. So she taught Helen how to spell out words, but Helen didn't know what they meant. But then Helen learned what water was and how to spell it. So that day she also learned 30 new words. Let's go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. In May 1888, Helen was ready for a new challenge. Shortly before her 8th birthday, she went to Boston with Annie. They went to Annie's old school. Sorry, I lost my place. The Perkins Institution. There, Helen learned to read Braille. Braille is a form of writing. It was invented in France by a blind man named Louis Braille. Patterns of raised dots stand for each letter of the alphabet. Using the Braille system, blind people can feel the letters with their fingertips. With this wonderful alphabet, Helen learned to read. Helen already loved words. Now she loved the stories that words could tell. She read many books, and then, using a special Braille typewriter, she wrote some stories of her own. So there is this typewriter that has Braille on each keypad, kind of like a keyboard, but on a typewriter. So that stands for the letter, and when you press it, it turns out to be a real letter. So she wrote books with it. There was so much that Helen could learn at the Perkins Institution. Soon, she and Annie began to spend winters in Boston and summers at home in Alabama. So they're switching to places. When Helen was 10 years old, she met another teacher in Boston. Her name was Sarah Fuller. I haven't heard of her. Sarah wanted to teach Helen how to speak. Until then, Helen could speak only with her fingers. She could talk only to people who understood the special hand language. Sarah wanted to teach Helen to speak with her mouth. The special language is called sign language, just if you didn't know. First, Helen moved her hand over Sarah's face. I know. She went like this. She felt Sarah's lips and tongue when she spoke. So she was like this, and when she spoke, she could feel her lips move, and she could understand what she was saying. Then Helen copied these movements. She tried to make sounds. Helen's first spoken sentence was, "It is warm." So she's talking about her hand, because the teacher said that it's warm. Your hand is warm. I said, "It is warm." It took a long time for Helen to improve her speech. She had to practice very hard. At first, only Annie and Sarah could understand what Helen said. Annie had to repeat Helen's words so others could understand too. But Helen was determined to speak on her own. She would not give up. Eventually, she learned how to speak more clearly. When Helen spoke, everyone listened. Helen learned something else at the Perkins Institution. She learned how to read people's lips. She could not actually see people's lips moving, but she could feel them with her fingers. by placing her hands on the lips and throat of the speaker. Helen could figure out what was being said. So she was like this, or like this, like feeling their vocals. Try doing that. Okay. Everyone was amazed at what Helen had learned. She was one of the first blind and deaf people to speak aloud and understand spoken words. That is the end of chapter 3. Wait for chapter 4. Bye. Thanks for watching.